In the last 48 hours, there have been several news reports that are really bad for you if you have a credit card or if you're simply one of those people that use a credit card for everything. Because credit card debt and delinquencies have just hit a 12-year high, and this could impact your finances. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to avoid this so it doesn't affect you, and a foolproof way to get out of debt if you already found yourself in credit card debt. But first, we need to understand what's even happening. So credit card debt and delinquencies have hit nearly a 12-year high, which is terrible news, especially for people who use their credit cards for everyday daily expenses. For example, this recent report by NBC News says consumers are increasingly holding off on applying for new mortgages and credit cards due to rising delinquency rates. This article says people are struggling to pay off their credit card debt even as they trim their spending. So people are trying, but it's just not working. The share of credit card balances that are past due reached the highest level ever in the first quarter. That is gigantic news, according to data from the Philadelphia Federal Reserve, has tracked since 2012. So this news is entirely accurate and the data is really scary. But in the next few parts of this video, I'm going to share how to avoid this and get out of it if you found yourself in some sort of mess. And for the people that think this is just because of the pandemic, you're entirely wrong, because it says it right here. Credit card and auto loan transitions into delinquency are still rising above pre-pandemic levels, people. So this is going on and this is surpassing the levels that we saw before the pandemic. Credit card balances increased by 50 billion to 1.13 trillion. Auto loan balances rose by 12 billion, continued the upward trajectory we've seen since 2020, and now stand at 1.61 trillion. So the auto loan market, you could say, hey, it has a little bit to do with the pandemic, but for everything else, there's no explanation, which is why we're going to dig even deeper into this news. So this report highlights that people are borrowing everything from vacations to groceries to pretty much whatever they could get their hands on. And it all started during the pandemic when prices just pretty much went through the roof. High interest rates by the feds were determined to lower inflation, but they in fact just pretty much drove everyone's credit card bill up through the roof to where they pretty much couldn't handle it. But why is this really happening? Before we could talk about that, I need you to smash that subscribe button if you want to be smarter with your money and ultimately get out of debt. So why is this happening, right? I think beyond survival, people are trying to keep up with the Joneses. What I mean by that is they see fancy lifestyles on social media and just on the news in general, and they're trying to become that person or keep up with that person in their own mind. People see influencers, celebrities, and other people they look up to traveling to exotic vacation locations, buying designer clothes, driving luxury cars, and they feel the pressure to do the same even if they really know they can't afford it. This leads to overspending, accumulating debt on credit cards, and getting themselves into trouble that they really had no business being into in the first place. The scary part about this whole thing is the psychological impact of this trend is significant. People are using credit cards to fill emotional voids, whether it be due to depression, anxiety, or just the desire to feel included in the social media hype and be accepted by their friends and family. This is a reminder that it doesn't take fancy cars and clothes to ultimately be accepted by your friends and family, and if it is, then unfortunately it's probably time to look for some new ones. I know you can't find new family overnight, and that's not something you should strive to do, but keep in mind that their opinions may weigh heavy on your mental health. But we can't stop there, because the next two parts I share are going to help you avoid and eliminate your debt. Alright, so how can you avoid falling into a debt trap? Here are some practical strategies to help you manage your finances a little bit better. First is going to create a budget and track your spending. I know this is boring, I know it sucks to do, but it really is going to make a big difference, because knowing where your money goes each month is the first step to getting out of debt. Okay, and to help create your budget without all the added stress, I recommend following a similar framework to this one. This one's from Ramit Singh, the best-selling author from the famous book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, which I absolutely love, and if you haven't read it, I recommend checking it out. No, that's not sponsored, that's not an advertisement, I simply do appreciate that book because it helped me out a lot. And what's cool about this is instead of calling it a budget, he calls it a conscious spending plan, because a budget is sort of a term that kind of gives people the ick. So you see we have fixed costs of 50 to 60% of your take-home pay. If it's over this and you got a mortgage outside of your conscious spending plan or a recommended debt to income ratio, then that's something you have to address on a different post or a different video. 10% are investments, which is your future money. Think IRAs, 401ks, money market accounts, and so on. 5 to 10% of your savings, and then 20 to 35% is kind of your money if you want to take your wife out and kids for a burger and fries on a Friday night. You don't have to technically sacrifice everything, but you should at least commit to putting a fixed amount towards each category, especially towards debt pay down. If right now you're in a situation where you owe some money on your credit cards, I recommend taking out the 10% of the savings and applying it towards the debt payments. So that means that this would look more really towards 60 to 70% of your take-home pay. And if it sounds like a lot, it should be, because remember, we're in debt because we overspent. So now we kind of have to overcompensate on the reverse to ultimately dig yourself out of that hole. After that, it's going to be prioritizing high interest debt and paying that down as quickly as possible. This will save you a lot of money in the long term on interest and ultimately help you get out of debt quicker. If you want to use the other method, which is the snowball method, meaning you start with the smallest balance, pay that down for a psychological win, because a lot of this just comes down to psychology and habits with money, then you go that route and you ultimately start with the smallest balance, pay that down, next balance, so on and so forth. This next one is a little controversial, but consider using credit cards that give you a high amount of rewards only if you can pay them down in full every month. Because the last thing you want to do is focus on credit card rewards and fall back into the debt trap. So this way you could take advantage of the perks and the benefits without falling into debt again. Next is to avoid impulsive purchases that are influenced by social media. Remember, most of what you see online is curated to look perfect. Don't let it dictate your spending habits. A lot of those people are in debt themselves, or it's simply from another sort of income source that you may not have. So it's really not fair to compare yourself to them, because at the end of the day, comparison is the thief to joy. And at the end of the day, if you really can't get out of debt and you find yourself in a hard situation, last thing you want to do before you keep adding on to it is make it worse. So seek professional financial advice if you find yourself struggling, and there are many resources available to help you create a plan and get out of debt and improve your financial health. Whatever you do, stay away from the debt consolidation companies. Usually they're predatory and they're out to get you. What I mean by that is they pretty much cause you to destroy your own credit score with hopes to negotiate the debt and get out of it somewhere along from 5 to 10 years. But with the standard methods I just shared with you, you could get out of a lot quicker. Yes, it will be a little bit more work, however, it is more effective. And if you still feel overwhelmed by all of your debt, let me share this inspiring story with you. So this person here managed to pay off $10,000 in credit card debt in just 1 year by following a strict budget and using the debt snowball method. If you remember from before, debt snowball method is when you take the smallest balance, you pay that down, and you work your way up. Essentially, while you're doing this, you're paying the minimums on the larger balance so you don't get hit with a late payment on your credit report, and you're ultimately focusing on the smallest balance first. So you focus on one thing, you pay that down, then you're focused on the next thing. Another individual used the balance transfer offers with the credit card offers that are going on this month to consolidate their debt to a lower interest rate. So while I'm a big advocate for this method, it really only is best for anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 in credit card debt. Anything over that, it's going to be a very long stretch to pay it down, and usually the 0% APR offers are only going on for 12 to 18 months. So anything over $15,000, it might put yourself in a sticky scenario, because if you can't pay the debt off by the end of the 0% APR period, then you're pretty much back to square one, and even worse, you'd be paying back all that debt at a credit card interest rate of over 20%, pretty much just destroying your life again. So it is possible to pay down your debt and get back on track and avoid all these common pitfalls no matter what you see on social media. And speaking of social media, there's a lot of misinformation out there that even I have to fact check, and I do this for a living. So let's go into the biggest questions that people ask, as well as debunking the common misconceptions. And don't mind me, I'm gonna read a few off my computer. Question number 1, is it okay to carry a small balance on my credit report to improve my credit score? Completely a myth. That is not true at all. Carrying a small balance on your credit card doesn't show the credit card companies that you're responsible. In fact, it does the complete opposite, because on your credit report, it's still going to report a utilization ratio, which is the amount that you owe versus the amount that you're offered on your credit limit by the credit card companies. Best way to do this is to pay it off in full. If you have the money, paying it off in full is always the best way. It's still going to show a positive payment to the credit bureaus, which is your credit report, and even better, it's going to show the credit card company specifically that you're ultimately responsible and they could trust you with more money, which is more credit. So it's a win-win for both parties when you pay it off in full. Question number 2. How many credit cards should I have? So this one depends on your ability to manage your finances and your credit cards. At the end of the day, it is always quality over quantity. With that said, there are better credit cards than some. So if you're ever struggling to find out which one's best and which one best fits your needs, I do have my affiliate links in the description. It does help support my page at no extra cost to you, which is going to share the best credit cards with the best sign-up rewards at the time of this video. And always remember, managing your credit card debt and your finances is the utmost importance, especially if you're brought to this channel. Stay informed, make wise decisions, and don't let social media guide you in the wrong direction. That said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you stay out of credit card debt. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.